Welcome to our third and likely final technical demonstration, this time of our brand new scoring spreadsheet, fore.SCORE. And yeah, I know you're probably saying, oh my god, Brian, where do you come up with these stupid names? Well, okay, fair point. So again, don't necessarily open it from the folder in the Dropbox, but you can get it from there, copy it to your home directory, and that's where I'm going to be using it and demonstrating it. So here is fore.SCORE. Very much similar interface as before. Now the only difference is, well, pretty much fore.SCORE's main focus is just scoring, obviously, as the name would imply. So you can go ahead and open your model through SAP, or through the Excel file, and it'll pop up, and here I have a kind of nice little bridge here. And you can actually see I've done a couple of iterations with restruct on this bridge, and you can see how already, just with maybe 2 iterations, some of the tuning sizes are already iterating towards their best values. But you can see also that a lot of these are pretty thin, so you'd probably want to do restruct and then design for strength and kind of bump those up a little bit. But anyways, we'll just kind of demonstrate with this file. And basically what I'd like to show you is more or less kind of the capability of fore.SCORE. So I'll kind of just bump this over to the side. So like with before, actually I'll make it full screen. So as with restruct, you can define pretty much all your load cases, vertical load cases, and vertical deflection measurement locations. And pretty much I've done the same thing where I've mirrored both sides. I have all 6 cases mirrored for measurements from the left and right side of the bridge. Very similar setup. The only difference is now, in addition to doing the deflection and weight cost multipliers, I now have certain things for max vertical and lateral deflection limits, cost multipliers for scoring of construction, and also just some parameters for basically our cost estimate model. This is just using any of the models 1 through 4 that we reviewed in that cost estimation of the economy score. Now, I've also included some options to include lateral deflection measurements, although I think it supports up to maybe 2, maximum of 2 lateral deflections measurement points. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. So once you have all this all set up, you never really have to worry about it again. Because as soon as you get it all in here, you can just switch over to the overall score history, and this is pretty much where the magic happens. You can see I actually have a couple of different iterations here in my history, and I'm measuring all the regular things, with the overall average score being the one of interest. So I started with a bridge that was maybe 4.1 to 4.2 million, and just by kind of making a couple manual tweaks and then doing only 2 iterations with restruct, I drastically reduced my score. Now the downside is that you can see the number of failing members for this particular one has gone up to 26, obviously, because we had all those really thin members in our model. But I'll just really quickly show you how it works, and it's just as simple as this. Calculate score. That's it. So it runs the model, and in this case it actually does the steel design check in addition, and it'll actually tell me how many members are failing. So here we go. So it basically spat out what the name of the design file was, prototest 2, and it calculated a whole bunch of things that I wanted. And you can actually expand this in order to get a little bit more specificity. For construction, it calculates the time, and you have all these plus buttons to expand these cells, pretty much the number of builders, runners, bargers, all those good things, in order to calculate your construction score, and that's directly computed from all the things on the left hand side. So you can alter these and alter this. Like say I dropped 51 members, it would drop down a little bit. So likewise, and close that, you can check out the lateral deflection. Like I said, you can measure lateral deflection at 2 points. Say, I don't know, if you're doing like cantilever and backspan deflection measurements. But this only reads out basically the maximum of whatever these 2 are. There's the aggregate deflection, and gets a little bit verbose. So basically, I have the aggregate deflection measured for each particular case, and then the individual aggregate deflection measurements at each of the 3 major deflection measurement points for that case. And it goes through pretty much for all those cases. So if you really wanted to, you could check those out. But I just like to close it up because that's more information than I really need. So likewise, you can do the same thing by checking out the average deflection score if you really wanted to. I don't see why. Same thing with average efficiency and overall score. So you can kind of get that extra information. Now you can include any version notes or changes in this little box here. And if you have the check for failing members little checkbox checked, then it will basically spit out how many members in your model are failing, if any. If you're lucky, there won't be any failing. But if you don't, click it, and then you do calculate score. Bloop, 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 running SAP 2000 analysis, blah, blah, blah. And basically you can see for this one, it didn't actually read out what that is. So this is really, really, really nice because basically all you have to do is go into your model and say, okay, well, I want to change this to, I don't know, this section. Maybe save it, and then calculate the score, and then see what happened to change it. And you only have to wait a couple seconds to see that, okay, well, I increased my score substantially. And you can see that I dropped in deflection, but I went up pretty much more than I would have liked in weight. So, you can do things like this and then maybe just focus on a member and then keep changing the tubing section size if you want. Although I would recommend saving all that changing of tubing section size for restruct. That's specifically what restruct does best. If you really wanted to investigate, changing your model, I would suggest maybe just taking out members or doing things like that, or maybe switching between fore.SCORE and restruct and then doing iterations. Anyways, hopefully this seemed pretty cool. This, oh my gosh, this kind of spreadsheet, like, other schools would kill for this. This is gold. This is solid gold. Anyways, well, hopefully that gets you excited. I'll see you guys next time.